Hey, what is up, everyone? Forever Lego here again with another Building Most Eisley episode. Today we have a lot to go over, and first off, I want to apologize for this episode coming out way later than it should have. I do apologize for that. This last month, Nate and I have been kind of jumping around, as you guys are going to be seeing later in the episode. A lot of things are in the process, and then ideas change and things change. You guys are going to see at like beginning of the episode, I want to say that I'm taking apart a X-Wing, and by the end of the episode, you're going to see that the X-Wings isn't even going to be in the mock. Don't be worried, there's still going to be something in there. You kind of see it at the bottom of the hangar. Don't worry, there's going to be something, in my opinion, much cooler than an X-Wing, at least for the preference. X-Wings are still one of my favorite vehicles. Regardless, getting off topic. There's quite a bit that gets done. I did accomplish pretty much what I wanted to in the very first clip. My biggest thing was obviously getting these buildings done because I wanted to try and knock out as much of the main work. I know obviously there's still plenty of terrain to get kind of all this, different colors. You got white, green, yellow, blue, black, gray, all these different colors. Obviously they're not going to be seen. There's going to be plenty of terrain covering it. It's just kind of finishing off the big items. That way I'm not having to rip anything up just to do terrain, or ripping any terrain up just to put something in there, especially when it comes to like the evaporators and stuff like that. I don't want to tile it off and then like, oh crap, I gotta pull up some tile and pull up some plates, because that gets tedious. It's tedious redundantly anyways when you have to put it down and having to rip it back up just for a small chunk. It gets tedious. So, with that being said, there's plenty of work to be done, obviously. I'll mention later in the video, both of these walls are done. It's mainly just the hangar getting to the final height, which is going to be something I mentioned later in the episode. But both these buildings are done, and you guys are going to be seeing what's going on behind me right here. So, with that being said, if you guys are excited for today's episode, definitely show some love by smacking that like button. And let's get on to today's episode right now. Okay guys, so starting off today's episode, I'm kind of picking up where we left off on the last episode. As you can see, everything's still kind of in place. Nothing's changed. My plan for now, at least for this little bit, is going to be moving all this front section, I guess you could say, moving it elsewhere, or at least moving it up. I can probably put this section right there on top of that, honestly. But the plan is to move this stuff because I need to work on my desk and start decommissioning that X-Wing right there. I mentioned in the last episode that I have the updated Jarek X-Wing design. For those of you who don't know, I'm building two X-Wings, fixing this one to the new one, and then building a second one for this hangar right here. But what that means is I need to take this one apart, see what parts I can transfer to the updated design, and I need to kind of clear this off right here because it's kind of tight when I sit in my desk chair, and I'd rather not push up against this and something break. So that is going to be the plan. Obviously throughout the week I'm going to try and focus on building up these two buildings and finishing off this one. I actually just got a order in today. It's not a huge order, but I want to say there's like 500 of these 1x2 bricks. It's going to be coming in handy, especially for finishing off this and building those two buildings. I still have a decent amount left over, and obviously just trying to continue building up my parts so I'm not to the point where, oh crap, I am completely out of this one particular piece that's really useful. So I'm trying to get better at making sure I have a decent hand on stock. So yeah, that's just there. Again, that was mainly for the order. They had a couple other pieces, trying to cut back on the little rings around the hangers with these 1x2 black slopes. So that is the goal for now. It is, I want to say, Monday, and I want to try and get at least a little bit done before calling it a night. But yeah, that's going to be the beginning portion. Obviously, my goal for the end of the episode is to have these buildings taken care of, as well as this one fixed up, as well as hopefully those things. So we'll see about that near the end of the episode. Okay, guys, so it is May 4th. I know this episode's coming out a little late, but honestly, that's kind of just how it goes with these larger episodes, trying to get as much progress done. Nate is over here trying to get some progress done. He's got that really dope looking set.
Don't you guys think this is a great gift that I just gave him? I think it's fantastic.
I am really appreciative.
Go,
I've been wanting, despite all the controversy with the clone, I love Fives. He's my favorite clone, so I'm super excited to actually have him. Huge thank you to Nate for that. So, today's progress, obviously, is getting more of this done. Obviously, this is all new to you guys. The droid depot is completely done, which I'll show you with all the lights and all that stuff here shortly. Those two buildings, these are the small ones I mentioned. Nothing really fancy. They're both completely empty other than like these light blocks that I picked up, which are a huge help. Huge shout out to Coconut Bricks for the idea. Actually, I was watching one of his episodes of Megiddo and he brought this up. These things are really bright. I'm not going to click it because it is super bright. So both of those have those lights, so both of those buildings will be lit up. I really like it. You know, it's nothing fancy, just two small little buildings kind of throwing up some more, I guess, living activity in Mos Eisley, as well as we're working on this building right now. It's going to have a garage. That area where that light cube is going to be completely hollow, so only you're going to be able to see is the garage. I think it fits really well. Don't mind this. You're not going to see this later in the episode because Nate's actually going to be taking that home so he can configure some stuff in that room right there. Got anything to say for that?
Coming soon. That's all I got, guys.
So that is not going to be at the end of the episode. It's not really needed for, you know, what's going on, so not a big deal. My goal is to have that raised up. I don't know if I'm going to get any progress done on the actual hangar, raising that up, just because I'm running low on bricks. So we're trying to get these smaller buildings in this area taken care of and pretty much caught back up. And then I ordered 300 more bricks. Obviously not going to be enough, but I want to try and finish that off here soon. But yeah, we're going to get some progress done. We've got a special thing going on later today, which we'll showcase here shortly, so catch you then. Okay guys, so we are currently taking a small break from the progress. Obviously, we got some more work done over there. That building is just about done, at least the structure, and obviously I've been trying to hammer out those walls over there. But Nate and I are getting ready to go spend our May the 4th at the movie theaters. Wait, hold on. What do you got on right now?
Darkness.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
That is the truth.
Okay guys, so taking a pause from the mock, this just arrived. If you're looking at this, you're probably wondering, that is a lot of 2x2 tiles. I wanted to give a huge shout out to my buddy Jay, as most of you guys know, Richboyjhaes. He is once again saving the day and sending some support to a boyo. Huge shout out to the guy. It's not the first time he's sent support for a mock, and yet again he is a huge lifesaver in this sense. Obviously, like I mentioned, these things are running out quickly because obviously with the terrain and stuff, it, you know, use quite a lot of it. Also shout out to his awesome packaging skills. Always impresses me with the package it arrives in, always coming in style. But again, huge shout out to Jay for hooking us up with all these tiles. I don't know how many, you know, how much all this is. He said I think it was like 5.5 or 4.5 pab cups, you know, worth of tile. So that's a whole lot. So again, huge thank you to Jay. These are going to be put to good use. I don't think I'm going to use any of this for this update just yet, because I want to make sure I know exactly how much I have here. That way I can, you know, return it once the mock is done. But with that being said, let's get back to work. Alright guys, so ending off today's video, or at least the final part of the video, is going to be showcasing what the mock is looking like back in place. I definitely accomplished what I was hoping for at the very beginning of the episode. I know we kind of jumped around throughout the different clips. You probably caught on to that. With this episode coming out later, I ended up spending different days, filming different days. So there is quite a bit of jumping around in today's episode. I do apologize if it's a little lackluster. But in the beginning of the episode, I did mention I wanted to finish these buildings right here, including the droid depot. And obviously that is something that was accomplished. So thank goodness. We also got more work than just this. Obviously we got this raised to complete height, as you guys saw in the beginning of the episode. That was not near that size. It was basically around where that platform hits, as well as kind of the same right there, if not a little less. But yeah, both sides of these are completely done. They have all the texturing, all the tiling, all the kind of just different stuff on this. Obviously, like this one has a vent and different machineries. Who knows what it actually is supposed to be? But it looks good. I'll take it. And it's the same kind of thing going on over here. My goal is to try and get through as much of this as quickly, because I feel bad when all these episodes end up being much longer. But I definitely have a lot to showcase because of so much progress. But yes, again, this is all done. This wall is completely finished. All done. It looks really nice. I like how both of these ended up turning out. Obviously, we still have the section for the hangar. My goal is to actually work on that in the following week. Me and Nate are actually going up to the Lego store and a Bricks and Minifigs this upcoming weekend. Hopefully we'll find some useful parts. I know a buddy of him that works at the Lego store has these, I want to say 1x4x3 bricks that are in tan, so those will be helpful for, like, you know, the plain sections, because as you guys can see, like these sections that don't have any texturing, that are just plain. Obviously I don't need to use a bunch of 1x2 bricks if I can use those larger bricks, and with it being on a pad wall, works fantastic. I do want to say I'm pretty happy with how I was able to hide the battery boxes. As you guys know, there's one in this wall, and then the one over there hides in there. I was actually pretty happy with how I was able to kind of just hide it underneath this. Obviously, this battery box controls all those lights. I need to fix that one right there. I don't know why that one burnt out. But you know, it is what it is. If it's unplugged or whatnot, I'll just get it replaced. But I do have these lights. Obviously, they're kind of just hanging out. They're going to be chilling on this side, but that will come once the actual hangar, I guess, area gets finished up. Moving on to these buildings, I know obviously this one's missing. Again, Nate has it in his possession, currently working on the lights and finishing up his room. So he's currently working on that. Obviously, it gives him something to do at his house that isn't necessarily having to come 20-ish, 30 minutes here to work on it, when he can just focus on that. As well as he has a couple sections of filler that needs to be done that we're kind of trying to both hit at the same time. That way we can just move on to the sections, because I feel like there's been a lot of time spent on this. Luckily, the next few sections, it's the two biggest things that I want to accomplish is the movie theater and the cantina. But I've already started on the cantina, so I'll lose some stress when it comes to finishing that up. I did order, both Nate and I ordered more parts for this to make it more flush, to look like that, so that should be done soon. Another reason why I'm kind of holding off on finishing this and kind of doing like the texturing, so if I come to use a bit more of those 1x4x3 bricks, is because I still want to put that piece of cloth. I haven't decided whether or not I want to use, like, what color I want to use, like a brown, black, or like grayish brown, maybe, going down this way, kind of giving it that covered look. I don't know yet, but I know whatever is covered, then it doesn't really need like too many of these details and stuff like that, where it's kind of just hidden and it just be there for my own personal sanity, I guess. But the big portions obviously is this right here, these three buildings. I am very happy with how these turned out. This is the droid depot. That's just kind of a homestead or apartment or something like that. I'm not entirely happy with this area right here. I'm thinking about redoing this just a little bit, because I don't love the double domes. It looks fine, and if you guys think it's okay, then that's great. I don't know. I'm thinking, trying to figure out something else that could be on top of that roof. There is a slight interior on this one, and I'll try and show you guys what's going on. I've got a mechanic working on one of those speeders. Obviously, the room's all quite a bit lit up. He's just kind of chilling in there using a welder to fix the speeder. Whether or not he's doing a commission or if it's own speeder, it is what it is. Now, this building, again, it does have a slight interior. This area right here does not have an interior whatsoever. It just has another one of these ports. I'm not going to open it up because it's got one of those light things that I mentioned at the beginning of the episode that are really bright, and I really don't feel like blinding you guys on camera. So that area right there is hollow. There is no interior on that. And it goes for these buildings the same. These are just two buildings that have nothing in them but the lights. And that's kind of the purpose, especially for Brick World and stuff like that. I'm trying to take in where public are going to be walking, because they're going to be coming kind of around here and coming this way. And some of these buildings, they really don't need an interior because no one's actually going to see it. And some of these buildings, I'm okay with taking the roofs off, but I really don't want to do that for every single building, especially because, you know, it kind of takes away from, I guess, the overall look when you have all these buildings with all their roofs taken off. This one, on the other hand, does have a full interior and has a kind of modular effect. The only thing that isn't done is these parts right here, and I'm going to put another piece of cloth right here. But I'm missing these two pieces. They're the same exact piece as this, but in light gray. I did go ahead and order them. They are on their way. I just haven't gotten them in yet. But those are going to be covering that, so it doesn't look a little off-centered. But yes, this has a complete interior. This is the Droid Depot. I am very pleased with how this thing came out. You just pop it off. Again, it's kind of like a modular. These sections right here basically stay the same. They don't move. I just knocked off one of the cone pieces, but that's okay. So this basically stays. It's kind of like a frame, so it's not moving. The only things that pop off is that part of the roof and this. And all this does is so you can see kind of behind the counter. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to have that Trandoshan in there for the final spot. He's just kind of in there for figuring places. Wait a minute. Who's going on? Don't worry about that. But actually inside the actual Droid Depot, you kind of just have different things going on, different droids. You can probably spot out a few iconic droids, including a Droideka, an Assassin droid, different battle droids, different astromechs, a Buzz droid, different protocols. Obviously, you have the Jawas, kind of interested in possibly getting a couple items. Again, I'm actually really happy with how this one turned out. I probably could have added a little bit more lights, but I'm also trying to be a bit more careful when I'm adding lights because I'm limited. I'm running low on time, so I'm trying not to use up what I have, so I can put money into other things, including more tiles. Shout out to Jay, by the way. Awesome of him for those. Moving on to this section right here. Obviously, again, same height. These are both the exact same height. Calculated it. Everything's the same. Obviously, other than, you know, design-wise, I guess. This also has a secret little hatch for the battery box. This little thing just pops right up. And there you go. There's the battery box. I'm very, very pleased. Very easy access, especially when wanting to display these items. It just makes turning these things so much easier and not having such a hassle. Obviously, that battery box is going to be hidden. It's not going to stay. The idea is there's going to be a little courtyard right here, and maybe like a little pond, not a pond, but a little water tank area for the dewbacks to be drinking, kind of like in the cantina set or the UTS cantina. Just something to kind of fill that area right there. That way it's not too blank. Obviously, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot going on because there's not a lot of minifigures. If you can spot out any iconic ones, please let me know in the comments below. But this thing is going to be filled. Again, there's still like more to build, but this thing is going to be filled to the brink with minifigures. It is not going to be just one or two walking around like those stormtroopers. Don't worry. I am half tempted to just bring my entire Star Wars minifig collection to Brick World just so I can make sure this whole area is completely filled out. Now moving into the actual hangar bay, there's some changes that have been made. Obviously, other than just this being done, none of that has changed. That's to come, hopefully, within the next week. But something has changed. So at the beginning of the episode, I mentioned taking apart the X-Wing and parting it out, figuring out what I need to build the updated ones. I did end up doing that. I have I want to say 83% of one X-Wing, which is great. But in terms of I still need to buy the rest of that and then a second one, I started rethinking the idea and started thinking, well, what else can I do? And it reminded me, someone commented, I can't, for the life of me, can't remember the name of who commented it, but someone mentioned maybe putting another freighter or some other ship in this area other than the X-Wing, and I really liked that idea, but I didn't know what to put in here until I think a buddy mentioned something about UCS sets, and I thought of the Slave One because this is one of my favorite UCS sets, and I was like, wait a minute, that could work. So I went ahead, took it off my shelf, they were all the way up there, brought it down here to see how it fit, and it fits pretty damn well. And I think it's just a great combination because both these two sets are my favorite sets in my collection. So actually getting to use both of them in a mock, and obviously it kind of makes sense. Boba Fett was on Tatooine at the time. He was hanging out with Jabba. So obviously his vehicle's got to be somewhere. Might as well park it right next to the hangar that was next to the Falcon. So the idea with this is obviously the Slave One is going to be in its place. Thought it'd be kind of fun. The only person we're missing is Zuckuss, but having the whole Bounty Hunter squad layout. We do have Zuckuss. He's in a sealed Slave One set that Nate has provided. So we just got to crack that puppy open and actually get the minifigure out. But we'll have the full Bounty Hunter list. And something I wanted to do extra, and that's kind of where this comes in. For May the 4th, something I did was purchase some more lights because LightMyBricks had a sale going on. I think it was 40% off on all their website. So what I decided to do is order some lights to light this puppy up. Something I really love about the Falcon now is obviously I bought that light kit to light the whole Millennium Falcon. Love it. Think it makes it pop so much more. And I really wanted to do the same thing for this because obviously when people are walking by, and what I'm super excited about for World of Lights is I want to see all this completely lit up and exciting to see. And I was like, man, I'm going to have one ship completely lit up and one ship not. So I figured, why not work on lighting this up? I tried finding a light kit that was already pre-made. LightMyBricks actually had one, but they discontinued it, of course. So I kind of had to wing it and DIY, do it yourself. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be adding all these lights to this, all that. I went ahead and calculated it. Any extra lights is probably just going to go back into my collection and use later in the mock. So that is going to be the change for this hangar. I hope you all understand and are okay with it. I still wanted to have the X-Wings, but I talked it over with Nate, and I think we just came up with the decision of this just being the better choice. With the Slave One being in this spot, because again, it's another iconic ship, and I think it would look really sick. Now, obviously, the goal for the next update, which is probably going to be I don't think it's the last update. I don't think it's the finale. I could be wrong, but I want this area to be completely done, and I'm serious about that. Completely done. Those sections done. All this tiled. Nate and I are kind of holding off on tiling it because there's other things that I need to add to this. First, obviously, I need to add more of the water evaporators. I have parts coming in to build more, kind of just fill up the area before tiling it. That way we don't have to rip anything up. And like I mentioned, I've already started working on the cantina. Don't worry, this is going to extend. It's not going to be cut short, hopefully, fingers crossed. But that is something that we're going to be working on the next couple weeks, trying to finish off more of the next sections. That way, this mock can extend further, and hopefully you guys get to see that in the next update, because I love this. but I want more. All right. Anywho, I think that's going to be it. I hope you all enjoyed, and let's get out to the outro. Okay, guys, so that was today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, definitely show some love by smashing that like button. Again, I do apologize for this episode coming out way later than it definitely needed to be. But I wanted to make sure that I wasn't leaving off on any small things, especially with like the building with the little interior with the speeder and stuff like that. I really didn't want to kind of show you guys, oh, this building's almost done, blah blah blah. Next episode, this little bit got finished. Same with these things. I've just been wanting to get all this stuff done to the exact height. This obviously is not going anywhere. This is the exact height. It's not getting any higher. I think it's a perfect height where kind of just fits where the vehicles are and the minifigures. So I don't think it needs to be any taller. It's the same over there. You guys can kind of see. I'm trying to point at it right there. The actual hangar obviously still needs to come up. It is not stopping there. It is going to go all the way up. Like I mentioned earlier, the goal is Nate and I are going to be driving up to the Lego store where his buddy works at. We're going to find these tan bricks that he says they have that are going to come in clutch. So we're going to go there and hopefully stop by Bricks and Minifigs, see if we can find some parts that could be useful, as well as some possible minifigures. Obviously, there's going to be a plethora of minifigures throughout the MOC. As you guys know, it is a spaceport. You have pirates, you have people, you have all kinds of aliens and species going around. So obviously want to make sure that we incorporate all of that into the MOC. So hopefully Bricks and Minifigs have some good options and good choices for our minifigures. But my goal for the next episode, because I want to say that we have one more episode before the finale, is to have this entire completely done, and that's again something that's going to help with those bricks that we pick up from the Lego store. The Slave 1 lit up. That's actually probably my next project up after this video's out. I want to get that taken care of, lit up, put in place. I'll probably end up honestly tiling up the hangar. That way both hangars are pretty much done on the interior. So that's probably my next project, and obviously I want to start focusing on some of the other buildings, including the movie theater, the cantina, as well as obviously the other miscellaneous buildings. The only other couple of buildings that I think that are going to have interiors is a possible junkyard, and maybe one other that I'm not 100% sure on. The buildings that have no interior are actually really super easy to put together. Like these two small buildings right here that you guys have already seen, it did not take very long. Like it took me 2 nights to get both of them done, and both of those nights were after I had already gotten off work. So the buildings that have no interior obviously are going to be easier because I'm not focusing on anything other than just the walls and the ceiling. But with that being said, I do hope you all enjoyed. I really hope you guys get a crack out of the Star Wars May 4th attire. Both Nate and I dressed up to go see Phantom Menace in theaters. A great time. He and I both had a phenomenal time going to see that with our buddy Braden. As you guys, if following the channel, you probably know him. But we went and saw it. Nate dressed up as a Sith Lord. I dressed up as a Jedi Knight. And it was overall a good time. So I hope you guys got a little chuckle. I think those little scenes between me and Nate on the series, I think, are a lot of fun. So I hope you all enjoy that. But with that being said, I have probably taken more time than needed. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, show some love by smashing that like button. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of the mod. Anything you'd like me to change or add. I'm obviously trying to add as much as I possibly can. I know someone mentioned about a bigger freighter, and with that being said, I added the Slave one instead of the X-Wing. And yeah, other than that, if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. My goal is to hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm hoping Chicago kind of helps boost that, but we shall see. And with that, I think that's going to be it. I hope you all will enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll catch you stud stackers in the next one. Bye-bye.